Hey team, how are you? Join me on a beautiful day. It must be about 26, 27 degrees today. So it's going to be perfect for us to do what we are doing, which is changing the oil and the oil filter too. So what you'll see me go through today is the very first time I will have ever done this. So it's new for me, it'll be new for you, but that's how we're learning together. So I need to jack the vehicle up first. My road that I have my vehicle on is very uneven, so I need a flat surface, which means I'll be using a thick piece of wood in order for me to get the jack on a piece of surface that is flat, so the casters can move forward when I do jack the vehicle up, otherwise it will bog down into the ground. Next, I will be removing the under tray, which requires the Torx T30. There's about 6 or 7 screws, which you may have less, depends on how battered your under tray is and how many times it's been removed. After that, we will be draining the oil from the pan, so we'll be removing the sump plug, and make sure you do have your oil tray lined up so you can catch the flow as the oil does come out of the sump. And then we will be back up on top of the engine bay, where we will be removing the cold air intake system that I have. So it's one of the modifications that my car has. You'll see that shortly. There's a few pipes that I need to remove in order to get to the oil filter, which is buried deep down within the engine bay. Upon removing the oil filter, I will show you what I have for this. It's a 36mm socket, and that is going to be used alongside a couple of extensions as well for me to get down deep into the engine bay for me to take that oil filter housing off. When we do replace the oil filter, make sure when you do push it in, it clicks, and then when we hand tighten that back in, as you'll see later on, make sure then it's torqued to 25 Newton meters, which we know it displays it on top of the oil filter housing. And we will then be replacing the cold air intake system pipes that I removed. Once we have replaced the oil filter, make sure we go back under the car and put the under tray back on. Make sure all those bolts are nice and secure. Then we can lower the car back down to the floor. After that, come back up on top of the engine bay. Make sure that we do fill up the car with oil. Well, I will be putting in 6 litres. So there's a 5 litre and 2 1 litres, as I'll be showing you shortly. So that is 6 litres in total. Let the car then build up to temperature, turn it back off, and then let's test the oil level just to see where it's at. Okay, let's check out exactly what you'll be needing for this service today. Okay, what we've got the jack, trolley jack sitting right there. So obviously we need that to jack up the car. We then have toolkit with the extension, so we'll be using this one right here to make sure we can get to the oil filter, because it's a very difficult angle to get to. We have 2 big extensions here to get down into the engine bay. The new oil filter that we'll be using, official Ford one. We then have 7 litres of the 5W30. Got 5 and 2 1 litres there. We'll be using this Allen key set. It's number 6. If you are removing that cold air intake, there is a bracket you'll see later on that requires this to remove that cold air intake barrel. This is a 36mm socket that I talked about. So this is what you'll be using to remove the oil filter housing, which obviously sits on one of these extensions. And then after that, you'll be needing a set that looks similar to this. We'll be using this to make sure we can take off the under tray. And the Torx T30 piece, which we'll be using, is right here. And then we'll be using the 17mm socket, which will be for the oil sump plug. And then, not forgetting safety as well, we have axle stand right there, which you'll be using alongside the trolley as well. Last but not least, we make sure we're using a torque wrench so we can torque everything to spec. So it'll be 28 Newton meters for the sump plug bolt, and then we have 25 Newton meters for the new oil filter housing. Firstly, make sure that the handbrake is on and we have it in first gear. So a flat piece of wood, this ground is very uneven, so you need to make sure that that jack can move forward on its casters as we get underneath the car, you need to be lining this up on the pinch weld before we do jack the car up. So once we have jacked the car up, we have it on axle stands, and for safety we have the jack there too. And we have removed the under tray. So what we're looking for is this sump plug just here. And we remove that. Okay, don't make the mistake I just made. And as the sump plug came out, it then filled the hole where the oil drips into, which means it's gone and overflowed everywhere. Oh well, mistake one made. Okay team, first task is to remove the cold air intake system. So we need to remove this Jubilee clip, to remove this, take out this scuttle panel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, and then right the way down the back is the bracket that holds the barrel on for the air intake. You should be able to see a Allen key bolt just here, and then there's a pipe that surrounds the big screw as well. That needs to be removed. Okay, so sump plug is now back in, 28 Newton meters. I'll torque that to. Oil filter has been placed. That's torqued to 25 Newton meters. Here is the old one. Okay, before we do lower the car back down, we need to put the under tray back on, and that's using the T30 attachment. So how much did I save doing all of the work myself? Obviously it's not just about the money, but it's nice to save where you can. So I had a lot of fun doing it. I also made a great video as well, helping other people. Plus I've saved a bit of money hopefully. So let's have a look at the figures. So just here, I'll put them here for you. So we have a quote from my local garage, which they said they would do it. This is a garage that I respect and that I would take my car to and feel safe having it there. So the supply of the parts and the labour would have come to a total of £230. Their labour rate is roughly £60 plus VAT, I believe. I've never asked them outright. So that's £230. I purchased a trolley jack because I had obviously had nothing. This is me going in from scratch and not being able to do anything with what I had. So I had to purchase quite a bit. Trolley jack cost me £55. The jack stands cost me £50. The 36mm socket attachment cost me £8 from Amazon. The torque wrench cost me £28 from Amazon. And then the oil and the filter, obviously the main two parts that we replaced, cost me £82. So in total, we're looking at £223 there. So as you can see, the comparison between the two just there. I myself know that there's obviously only £7 in that, but if you think about it, the trolley jack, the jack stands, that attachment, the torque wrench, those I can all use again. So essentially all that will be paying for itself. So let's face it, it was worth it, right? You be the decider as well. Put some comments below, let me know what you think. That is the oil filter and oil service complete. We are now back up and running, ready to go. If you did like this content, make sure you do like and subscribe, because if you're enjoying it, hopefully I'm enjoying it, which of course I am, we can enjoy it together. So see you guys soon.